welcome once again to this moon meditation. This time we connect with the full moon in Capricorn that is happening on the 10th, sorry, of July. So this is being recorded a few days before, and it's happening in Capricorn. Before we start with the moon, what is it that I want to tell you? See, something that I wanted to share with you. Um, for those who were interested in coming to the retreat that I'm guiding in the Sahara this summer, I've created a shorter version for those who couldn't take the full 10 days away from work or from their obligations. I've created a 7-day version of the retreat, which is so shorter and cheaper. So check that out, or send me a message if you want more information, or go to the website and you'll find all the information about that. I wanted to let you know because I know many people were really feeling the call to come but couldn't because of that. So that's all for those who are interested. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else in the housekeeping department. So let's dive into the moon information. So as I said, this full moon in Capricorn is happening on the 10th, which is just a few days after a major move of Uranus in Gemini and a few days after Neptune has started to retrograde. So these are major movements, especially the one of Uranus moving into Gemini that happens the last time it happened was 84 years ago, so most of us weren't born. So it's the first time we're going to experience this energy. So I will talk a little bit about that, and I'm sure you found millions of resources that really focus on that point. So I won't be focusing on that specifically, but we'll touch on it for this full moon in Capricorn because it plays an important part in the information that is coming to us. This moon is happening at 18 degrees 50 of Capricorn, and it's happening at 8 p.m. 36 Universal Time on Thursday, 10th of July. So you can check where that falls in your chart if you want to know a little bit more about which area of your life it touches exactly. And as usual, full moons mark the culmination of a cycle. It's something that has reached its maximum expression and is going to go towards a cycle of integration over the following 2 weeks until it reaches the point of a new beginning, where hopefully that cycle have brought us information that we have integrated and assimilated so that we can move on to the next step with the following new moon, which will happen in Leo at the end of July. So let's look at the archetype of Capricorn to understand what this moon is about and what information it draws from the archetype it's shining in at the moment. Capricorn is an earth sign, is the spiritual aspect of the earth trinity that includes Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The mantra of Capricorn is I use, and you will understand how powerful this mantra is and how it can help us a lot into shaping up our reality, into also disconnecting or detaching from everything that is happening around us to use it, like the mantra says, to create what we want to create or to evolve, or in our general management of our lives. Its key attributes are usually connected to structure, to limitations, to time. It speaks about our ability to use our experiences to continue to grow and evolve as a being, as a multidimensional being, and as one as a being in one stage of its growth in this incarnation. So it contains in its archetype the notion that of time, obviously, which is how we can understand evolution, is through time. And because of that, it hints at the hierarchies and the structures of the universe. And it's the archetype that helps us navigate that and evolve into those hierarchies and into the structure of the universe, into dimensions, into planes, etc., etc. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the master of karma, the master of time, which is also very much related to matter and to 3D, to the three-dimensional realm that we exist in. The way Capricorn sees the world is through the goals it sets itself, and it's usually long-term goals. And because it understands the cycles of time and karma, setting a long-term goal is something that is quite natural and quite, something that the archetype of Capricorn can navigate through, because it has that purpose ahead, and it understands that it needs to go step by step by step, each step being taking them closer. So each step being something more that I built, like a staircase that I built towards my goal. So it has that very that sense of discipline, that sense of regularity, that sense of constantly making things better, more efficient to reach the goal. And one of the great attributes of Capricorn is that it really understands how reality works and how it relates to the divine. It's really a wonderful, it's a master. It's really one of the masters of the zodiac in terms of understanding how to navigate this reality, because it remembers its divine nature. So it's not caught into the web of this reality. It knows that it has a divine nature and that this existence is one step towards something much, much, much bigger. And at this point, when we reach the archetype of Capricorn through the travel through the zodiac, the being has reached a point of mastery and understand its trine nature of vibration, energy, and matter. And it becomes a master of matter at that point. Capricorn is related to the 10th house, which is the house of work and profession. And as I said, it's ruled by Saturn. So what is it that we have to deal with this moon? So one of the key information that this moon is bringing, it sheds a light on the conscious and unconscious structures that shape our reality. So it's bringing to light all the rules. It can be beliefs as well, but structure perhaps is a much more relevant word. All the structures that we have internalized and that shape up our world. This can come from our experiences, life after life after life. It can come from our childhood. It can come from our ancestry as information encoded in our DNA. It can come from our experiences and how we took in the experiences we had in this existence. So all of that have shaped up a structure that holds us stable and allow us to function in this reality. And what this moon is asking us is, if I take all of these structures, conscious and unconscious, and all the baggage that I have and that form the building or the structural aspect of my being in this incarnation, where am I in my evolution? What have I achieved and manifested so far? How much of my divine essence am I recognizing? So for me, this moon is shedding a light on this and is asking us to just maybe take a pause a little bit and ask ourselves all these questions. We have Saturn in the very first degree of the zodiac, conjunct Neptune, and squaring Jupiter. And these are also raising the question of, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to build? And for that, I need to reevaluate whether the structure I'm living by is still relevant. And by structure, I mean, I don't know, where you live, your work, the people you surround yourself with, all sorts of things that hold up your reality and make you like a balanced, as much as we can, as we can be in this mad world, a balanced being. You understand what I mean? So it's a nice time to take a look at all of this and ask ourselves, okay, with what I've internalized so far, with the way I've organized my life so far, what did I achieve? And from now on, where do I want to go? And Uranus is amplifying that a lot because it's bringing a big shift in energy. We'll look at that a little bit later. But it's amplifying that question that Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn are asking us. And there's another piece of information that is also very important in this moon is there is a tension or the semi-square between the Sun, the Moon, and Chiron in Aries. And this is inviting us to look at the wounds that I am creating from, or the wounds that I feel trapped in. And we want to bring consciousness and recognize, however painful it can be sometimes, that sometimes the structures that we've built are ways to sustain ourselves because we don't know how to deal with a certain wound. And the more we do some internal work, and you know, all of you know that for sure, the more we do internal work and work on ourselves, the more we uncover those wounds and learn to recognize them. But maybe, you know, it's a process between the moment we recognize a wound and we identify where something hurts. And so between this point and the point where we recognize what we have created in our lives to patch that up, to make sure it's not too painful and that we can still stand on our feet despite this wound. So if there's something that comes to your mind when I'm saying this, maybe you write it down or, you know, just to look at it with a calm mind after we do this meditation and just scan your life as in how you have organized yourself, how you've organized your reality to see where you have created structures to support you with regards to that particular wound. And also ask yourself, can I do it differently? Am I still wounded? Am I at a point where I can heal this? You know, just to work on the whole package of wound and structure that allows you to function. I hope it's clear. So, and the fact that Chiron is in Aries, this kind of also points us in the direction of all the wounds that pertain to my sovereignty or to my connection to my divine nature. Where do I think that I can't decide, or I'm disempowered, or that God is outside of me? How much further do I need to go to integrate the fact that the divine is within, that I'm an expression of that. It can be very subtle. I mean, we all have different paths, and for sure, I'm pretty convinced that all of you who are listening to this are on some kind of path, and some are closer to that realization than others. Whatever extra step that we can take is wonderful. There's no, it's not a performance game or anything. But I'm just trying to give you some leads on what are the particular information that this moon is about. So this is one of them. My sovereignty and my connection to my divine self as an embodied um, manifestation of the divine. And remember that any wound that you recognize, that you uncover, that you discover, all of these are in fact deep potentials. They are gifts. They are ways for you to leap towards a better alignment with your essence. So never doubt that, I want to say. And however painful, however deep, however difficult you might feel it is to overcome a pain or a wound, know for sure that this is your key to superpower, a greater alignment with your inner power. This moon is also connecting to the North Node. And in that, it is speaking about recovering our path towards our collective destiny, and which is recognizing the Christ within. The North Node is in Pisces, and Pisces is the archetype that reminds us that we are part of nature as the dream and the dreamer. So it kind of ties in of what I said earlier. So it reminds us of unity consciousness and the Christ that we hold within, which is our essence as divine beings on earth. And as we create our experience along the zodiac from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, blah, 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 etc., until we reach Pisces, we hold that structure that's going to lead us to the Piscean return to unity, let's say, through the structures that Capricorn will put together. And Capricorn knows where we're going. It knows that we're going toward the Piscean dream. And its function is to create the tools and the path and to make sure we get there. Saturn is also connecting to, yes, Saturn and Neptune are also connecting to Pluto in Aquarius. And again, it's pushing us to create those new structures. Pluto is like the one that is the renewer, is the one that's going to push us to burn down the old, make it a fertilizer to create something new for the new path that we're going to take. And Pluto is still trining. It's Neptune and Saturn that are connecting with Uranus, which again is the one that is the great awakener, is the one that will awaken you. So you either do the work of opening your eyes, of seeing the truth. Uranus is associated with the truth, very much so. Or life is going to do that for you. So it is really, really time to break old patterns and invent new ones. And Jupiter, as I said earlier, is the one that is pulling us towards expansion, is asking us to check our beliefs. What are they? Are the structures that we have in concordance with our beliefs? And to do all this very deep work, which is deep because, how can I say that? It's deep because it touches things that are feel permanent. But in reality, we can change some things we can change very easily and without, spending months thinking about them, etc. It's a question of understanding that it is possible and that change is available. And there's a lot of signals that say that yes, the ability to change is super available. Uranus is definitely like telling us that with a loudspeaker for sure. So I think it's great to listen to that information and to be proactive and to decide what change we want to make rather than it coming from outside, which we would be generating because from our unconscious patterns, etc. But the more consciousness we put in the change we want to make, the better. We're gonna ride a wave rather than having a wave, falling on us. Another very interesting piece of information is the connection of Venus and Uranus. So on the 10th, Uranus is going to be at the very, very first degree of Gemini, and Venus is going to be at 6 degrees. So technically, they are very close and they are affecting each other. And so Uranus, as you might have listened to in various pieces of information, it brings innovation in all aspects. At a general sense, it brings innovation in all aspects related to science, knowledge, communication, including intergalactic communication. It's really the planet related to truth, related to change and sudden change, related to originality, which is being amplified by the fact that it's now entering in Gemini. It's maybe new ways of communicating at a personal level. So there's all of that. And Venus is talking to us about our inner fire, our passion, what makes us tick, what we desire most. And its connection with, and it's in Gemini, and its connection with Uranus is pointing us towards perhaps connecting to the people we resonate most with. And I think it's asking us to really open the door to that fire within, to expand air in Gemini, air in Uranus, and create harmony in our reality based on what really our heart desires. And to create that in the world by expressing our deepest essence, which is the same thing as what our heart desires. And this is what will make us radiate. This is what will make us shine, really. So as much as there is let's say, an analytical mind to be kind of put into the information of this moon, there's something very strong about listening. Listening to even to the faintest signals, to the faintest desires, to the thing that seem the most anecdotic, maybe, I don't know, it can be about going to a certain place, like I want to go swim, or eating a certain food, or seeing a certain person, or taking on a certain course, or anything that, lights up your eyes. I would really encourage you to listen to that and to act on it to the best of your ability in the moment, and to record that sensation that you feel when you listened and you acted and you get that incredible uh, satisfaction or the sensation that you've done the right thing, to build up that ability to listen, to listen, to listen, and create that channel between what is really making us happy, our deepest desire, and its expression in our reality. It's also the other thing that's important to note. Gemini is this also the sign that connects the I and the am, as much as us and others. And it's also the other effect of connecting to what we desire most. It's using that inner fire to reach the highest consciousness. This is being fueled by Uranus, which is the higher mind as well, as opposed to following maybe the most material and bodily passions, to really connect that to understand and learn to understand what are the desires that connect us to that consciousness, or to that our higher self, or to higher or to the divine, however you want to call it, and which are maybe more bodily needs. I'm not saying give more attention to one or the other, but it's more about also learning to discern between those two and to decide where you put your energy and to not be mistaken of which is which. And in any case, this conjunction or this connection between Uranus and Venus, for me, it's definitely pointing to expressing our inner fire with authenticity, truth, Uranus, with fraternity, Uranus again, a very Aquarian, fraternity is a very Aquarian one, but also Gemini. Gemini is also a lot about fraternity. So these are the key points for me of this moon. And there's one last piece of information that I want to share with you, which comes from a fixed star. There aren't, I try to look for information that come from fixed stars because these are very powerful energies that can help us grow, that can help us grow faster, that can, elevate us. And there isn't always a star that connects with a full moon or a new moon, but for this one, there is one. It's called Wasat. Wasat in Arabic, you have noticed that a lot of stars have Arabic names. Wasat means middle, the center. And Wasat is to the degree conjunct to the sun, which means it's opposing the moon. So it's very, very active in this full moon. And the information of Wasat is it points towards the primordial principle that allows the inner alchemy to happen. It's also a star that helps us recognize the Father. The Father is also the sky. It's the consciousness, our belonging to the divine. And it helps us through our ability to focus. So to be focused on our divine part, on the alchemical work, it helps us bring more light within, which in other words is bring more consciousness, which means understanding more who we are and getting further towards our path of evolution. And interestingly enough, I mean, I'm always amazed by the messages from these stars. This star is sometimes they give us homework, and this star is asking us to review the way we think so that we can be born to new ideas. This is very much a signature of Uranus to new ideas and to what I said earlier about the structures and the patterns that shape up our lives. With the let's say the pull of Jupiter that is about our beliefs. So, and the way it helps us, the way this fixed star helps us, is it's beaming an energy of construction. Again, Saturn, to build structures in harmony with the galactic planes that transmit divine wisdom. Again, Uranus, the out there, the galactic, the other life forms, the other beings that are in other planes or other dimensions. So this is what this moon is about. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to share. So in summary, it's about reviewing my mental structures that I've inherited or constructed myself, connecting to my inner fire and create the new pattern structures, what I need to make my life more complete and help me express my essence in a more harmonious way between my divine nature and my experience, to bring that in a more aligned, let's say, way. So yeah, and today in meditation, we're going to set the intention to clear and renew the basic data that informs that structure that is in our blood cells and in our stem cells. So, and before we move to the meditation and to the message from the people from Inner Earth, let me see if you have any questions. Let's now look at what the people from Inner Earth have to tell us. So what further information we need for this full moon? So funny. It's a message from the ancient Mayas and its relations. And you can see it's a flock of birds. I hope you can see. No. The flock of birds flying in the sky, and it's called relations. Let's see what that means. Number 30. Okay, so the relations. We, the ancient Mayas, are beings that work as a team, like a close-knit great family. With this message, we would like to remind you of the importance to surround yourself with beings that look like you so that you can accomplish your missions successfully here on Earth. The beings that you surround yourselves with have a great impact on your aptitude, and the development or lack of development of your creation possibilities. I'll rephrase that. I'll say it again. The beings that you surround yourself with have a great impact on your aptitudes and the development or the lack of development of your possibilities of creation. Take care to cultivate real exchanges and to emphasize relations that are healthy and without ambiguity. A good friend will help you infinitely more than a bunch of friends that don't know you really and doesn't manifest the deep desire to learn to know you. Don't stay at the superficial level of your relations on a day-to-day basis, and nourish the ones that deserve that you spend your energy on. The essential key is the relations of our lives are the engines of evolution. Learn to recognize the relations that nourish you inside. This is the current relations. Okay. That's very interesting that this one is coming up because it's both related to the archetypes of Uranus and of Gemini, which is connecting to others. So I think it's a lovely, lovely reminder. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the meditation now. Okay. Find a comfortable position, seated on a chair or on a meditation position. And let me share the music. Okay. Sit comfortably. If you need to, you can stretch a little bit, yawn, until you find a comfortable position. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply through the nose. Hold your breath. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. And with the exhale, let go of any tensions in your body, any emotions, any thoughts. Slowly emptying your mind, making space for the meditation that we're about to start together. One last time, take a deep breath in. Exhale. And with your eyes still closed, check that your spine is elongated, reaching towards the sky. And align your neck and head in the same line as your spine. Consciously check for any tensions in the body that usually accumulate in the lower belly, in the arms, in the shoulders. And release any tension if you see any. Sometimes in the face, relax the jaws. And when you've checked your entire body, sit completely still. And we're going to start by placing our attention in our breath. to help us anchor ourselves into earth. With each exhale, I focus on my root and imagine roots growing into earth. With every breath, the roots grow deeper, expand, making the most intimate connection with earth. I visualize those roots growing, perhaps meeting the roots of other trees, encountering all the life that is on the surface of earth and in the soil. And I reach as far as my imagination allows me. Always using my breath. And as I grow these roots, I feel the sustain, the support, the steadiness, the deep anchoring. All the groundedness. I feel calm, gently spreading in my entire body. Maybe my breath becomes slower. I'll allow it to be at the pace it needs to be. And when I feel fully anchored, grounded, connected, I bring back my attention to my breath. I breathe in, becoming aware of the air that I take in through my nostrils. Notice the temperature of the air, where it touches my skin. Maybe I can feel the air inside my nostrils, touching the inner walls of my nostrils. And I follow the trajectory of each inhale into my body. Down my throat, into the lungs, into the bronchi that expand into my lungs in smaller branches, forming an entire network until it reaches the end of this network of bronchi, where the air sacs is and where oxygen can be delivered into my blood. And I follow the trajectory of the oxygen that is now flowing into my blood with each breath, with each inhale. Flows in my veins, reaching my organs, muscles, tissues, nourishing them with the oxygen, going down to every cell, breath after breath. I get more familiar with this journey of oxygen inside my body. Take the time to follow the stream of blood to each organ, into the tips of my fingers, into my legs, down to my feet, to my head. And as I get more acquainted and familiar with this trajectory, I focus on the smaller units, my cells, which receive the oxygen and create, through transformation in the cell, the energy that powers my existence. The energy and the heat that breath after breath allow my genes to be expressed into who I am. I become aware of this incredibly perfect system that takes oxygen in to express all the codes that my cells carry. And with our breath, we set the intention to release the codes that we no longer need, each one of us, and to awaken the codes that will pave the way for the next step of my evolution. I breathe in, fueling my inner fire in every cell, creating more energy, releasing more information, allowing new codes to rise up and be expressed. I allow that transformation to happen in every corner of my body, in every cell, in every tissue, in every organ, down to my bones and to the marrow inside my bones. And as I breathe in and out, fueling the transformation in every cell, I visualize all that energy and all the new codes as light specks that fill up my body and expand into my field. I continue to ignite the action in every cell. And if I feel an area of my body calls my attention, I allow myself to focus on that area. I might feel a little bit of heat inside, maybe in my hands or in certain areas of the body. I allow that to happen. And gently, I come back to more quiet breathing. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I now place my attention on my bone structure. I become aware of how it supports me, of how it's the signature of my posture, how also it protects my vital organs and enables me to move. As I focus on my bones, I go deeper into the bone marrow. This is where my stem cells are. The blueprint that expands my codes into my entire body. Expanding them through my blood, my lymphatic systems, my tissues. It's from there that I can heal and regenerate. And recode all the information that I carry. I set the intention to release the codes from my marrow, the codes that I no longer need, and to transform the blueprint that I hold within into what I need for my next step. And from the earth, from the roots that I have grown, I pull in all the nutrients that I need to transform those codes. With my breath, I pull in all the minerals that enable this transformation, the opening of this new information into the deepest cells of my being, the ones that will open the new path for my evolution. And I pull in the copper, the zinc, the magnesium, the iron, all the minerals that Earth so generously nourishes me with. With my breath, I fuel that transformation into the deepest of my structure, allowing the oxygen once again to transform it and regenerate my blueprint code. With my breath, I fuel that transformation. Allowing the temperature to rise if it needs to. The energy to be released wherever it needs to. And a transformation to happen. And gently, I come back to normal breathing and place my attention into my root, into my tailbone, gathering all the energy that I've created into that space and guiding it upwards with my intention, with my focus. Guiding it along my spine, vertebra after vertebra, into my central axis, rising degree after degree, vertebra after vertebra, step after step, along the 33 steps that takes me to the center of my head, the seat and the throne of consciousness. As I allow and guide this energy to rise up along my spine, I allow it to expand into my entire body. Through my spinal cord, the central axis of my nervous system, spreading all that new information into my entire body and my entire field. And as I reach the top of my spine, the atlas, the vertebra that supports my head, I allow all that energy to rise up to my crown and fill up my entire field like a fountain, surrounding me with this newly encoded light. And with this, I awaken my inner fire, nourishing it with love and harmony, creating the structures that allow my divine essence to be fully expressed. Thus opening a new evolutionary step for my being towards eternity. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and I calibrate with the sound M. Slowly, I come back here and now. Becoming aware of my body. If I feel the need to, I can stretch. Yawn. And when I'm ready, I can open my eyes. Thank you very much once again for being here today. I wish you a beautiful full moon, and I will see you at the next moon phase. Bye bye. Bye for now.